Welcome to The Good Stuff by Bright-Sided. I'm Christine.
And I'm Spencer.
What is The Good Stuff by Bright-Sided about? Spencer, what have I told you The Good Stuff by Bright-Sided?
You told me you wanted to tell some stories about things that are happening locally in our community that are good, that are wholesome, that are fun, that are a way to get people excited about what's going on in their town. And sweet stuff, because everyone's, I think, a little fatigued and anxious and stressed about hearing all the oftentimes negativity in our world.
I'm remembering now why this idea came to me. So my husband works for the news, and I often want to turn on the news so the kids can see him. But almost every time I turn it on, I have to turn it off. There's a lot of things on there that I don't always want my kids to see. But I do want them to know what's going on in their community, and I want them to be excited about getting involved in things that are going on and things that are happening. And I don't think that there's a day that goes by where my son doesn't say oh my gosh, I want to be a YouTuber when I grow up. But in order to have something to speak about, you need to be an expert at something. You have to find passion outside of anything digital. And that is really important to me as a parent in today's society. I thought, well, if there was a podcast that was community focused, also brought in some good stories that are happening on the national and world level, and my kids could listen to it every week, then they're going to learn what's going on in their community. And it's going to hopefully teach them, if I want to be involved or if I want to do something that's going to put me on YouTube, then I have to become an expert at something outside of watching people play video games.
Yeah, sure. But also to demonstrate that, if you want to, quote unquote, create content and be on TV like your mom and dad are, it doesn't have to be shock value or doom and gloom or negativity, because there's a lot of that, I think, online that I'm seeing. It's just that's how people get to it now. They crack open the emotion of anger or fear, and then that's where all the views come from, that's clicks come from, that's where everyone is popular now. And so proving that you can do something like this and talk about nice things, and wonderful community events and engagement and arts and culture.
And I feel like whenever we have someone in the studio, there is a relationship that develops at a human level. We live in a world where our kids are going to learn how to talk with their thumbs more than they talk with their faces.
Yeah.
And I just want to almost demonstrate the importance of connecting with someone in real life.
Sure.
So here we are.
Look at us connecting.
We're so
IRL.
connected.
Well, we didn't preface this that I work at Saratoga Arts, which is why I'm here at all. I'm the grants coordinator at Saratoga Arts. I give out $250,000 annually to local arts and culture projects in Saratoga, Fulton, and Montgomery counties. And then I'm also just trying to bring arts to the community.
I think personally that art is supposed to be part of our daily lives. And I think it's something that we've lost. But now that I'm raising kids, I'm coloring more.
Right.
And I'm wow, it's really fun to color.
Yeah, it's also an instant, I created something. I put effort into a thing, and now there is something beautiful or something different or something changed. And so it is something that you can do to access a part of your brain and exercise a part of your brain that isn't necessarily logical and administrative. It engages parts of you that make you better as a person.
What exactly is Saratoga Arts?
We are a community arts center, and so we do exhibitions. We have a theater space. We do movies, plays, music, live performances. We run workshops and classes for adults, for kids on the school breaks. We give out grants and any other support that we can give to local artists. What is your kind of target audience? Who are the people you want to listen to this and take things away from?
I am hoping to connect with other moms like myself who want to make sure that their kids are getting involved with the community and becoming aware of what's going on without constantly taking in negativity. Because I just think that it's our job to show our kids the way.
Sure.
My children are growing up with AI. In kindergarten, they were given iPads to do work on. They don't use Scantrons anymore. They use iPads to do their tests. And so I'm learning how my kids are learning through my kids.
Yeah.
And it just feels backwards. And I want to make sure that they're not completely like sucked into the screens.
Sure.
And I realize this is going to be on screens, but it's also something that you can listen to while you're doing something else and hopefully become more aware of the stories that are happening in your community. Part of what we're doing is we're reaching out to the local schools and we're talking to principals there about how to get students involved in this show so that way they're writing something that will be so good that it's worth coming in here and sharing it. And so it like means something special and like you have to put the work in before you just all of a sudden get to be on camera and have the privilege of a microphone, which everyone deserves the right to understand like how confident being behind the mic and seeing yourself on camera can make you, right?
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden you are elevated in people's eyes in a new way. I do think that podcasting is an art form. Because to me, the art comes from like observing, processing, writing, and or editing. That's why I found podcasting, because it's long form content where like you might get a little bit of the story on social media. But if you want to really understand people or like see the connection, you've got to go off of social media and actually listen to the conversation, and then you get to be a part of that. So if you have the privilege of being in front of a mic, how do you make sure that what you have to say is so important that the whole world should hear it?
Sure.
And so it's something I challenge the people who I work with to also think about, like, why is your thought leadership so important? All right, thank you guys so much for listening, and please be sure to follow this podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We are also on YouTube. Thanks for co-hosting with me.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right. We'll see you next time.